so he comes running in, and he's standing there, and he goes, "My room's on fire! My room's on fire!" And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "My room's on fire! My room's on fire!" And so I jump out of bed, man. I'm like half asleep. I jump out of bed, and I tell him, "Stay here." Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Ghostfly podcast. I'm your host, Andre. And for all you new people that's watching this channel, please subscribe, like, and hit that icon. And for you returners, thank you for coming back. Anyway, on with the show. Let's go ahead and talk about what happened to my son. Actually, it was my youngest son. And you're going to like this one right here. One night, I think it was a weekend out, we were sleeping, and everybody's out, man. It was like, I think it was like around midnight, and I hear like commotion going on. Boom, 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 boom. Something's happening. Boom, boom, boom. Somebody's hitting the walls. Boom, 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 boom. And my son comes in, and he runs in, and he's all freaking out, and I know he's like freaking out because when he was young, he used to have this thing like either he got nervous or really excited, and he'll shake his hands like this. He'll stand there and he'll go, "Oh," you know, like if he's playing basketball and he's ready for the ball, he's like, "Oh," like that, or whatever. But if he's excited or nervous, he'll just shake his hand, you know, both of them actually like this, you know, wave them in front of him, but like if he has water on his fingers, you know, he's shaking it off, shaking it off, shaking it off. Anyway, so he comes running in, and he's standing there, and he goes, "My room's on fire, my room's on fire." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "My room's on fire, my room's on fire." And so I jump out of bed, man. I'm like half asleep. I jump out of bed, and I tell him, "Stay here." So I shot through the family room, up a couple steps through the kitchen, dashed through the living room, down the hall, and I go in his room, and I stood there right at the front of the doorway, and I look in front of me. I looked to the left, I looked to the right. I didn't see nothing. So I stepped in. I went into the closet. I looked in the closet, and I didn't see anything. I looked under the bed. Man, I looked everywhere. And I couldn't see. First of all, I didn't see no smoke. All right, I didn't smell any smoke also, but I didn't see no fire neither. You know, the room was still dark. So I remember. So I got back. Well, actually, I just made sure everything was clear. Then I went back to the room, and my son was still standing there shaking, like he's like really freaked out, you know, what he saw. And I'm like, "Hey, little guy, there's no fire in the room. What did you see?" He goes, and he tells me this. He tells me that he's like half asleep, and he opens his eyes, and the room's like full of smoke fog. That's what he was saying, smoke and fog. That's what he said. And he said he sat up and he was looking around, and he couldn't see his room. It's just like straight thick fog or smoke. And being young, he wouldn't think fog, you know. He'll just think like if it's all misty inside, there's just smoke, like the house is on fire or his room's on fire, something like that. But it could have been like real foggy to him. So he gets up, and he said he's looking around, and he's freaking out, and he stands up, and he couldn't even see the doorway. He said he couldn't see the walls. He couldn't see anything in front of him. So he's putting his hands out like this, all right? He's putting his hands out like this, and he's reaching for the door because he knows where his bed is. So apparently he knows that the door is in that direction, you know, a direction. So he's reaching in front of him. He said he's reaching in front of him, and he's looking around. He's reaching for the door. Boom, 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 boom. And then as soon as he gets to the door, boom, everything clears up, and he sees the hallway, and he dashes and lets us know that there's a fire in his room. And I couldn't calm him down. I mean, he was telling me that, you know, there's a fire in the room no matter what. You know, there's a fire in the room. I saw it. So I had to grab him, take him all the way through the house to the front of the house where the other bedrooms were, and show him in the room there's no fire. There's no smoke. There's no nothing. And once again, I showed him like in the bedroom, not in the bedroom, but in the closet. I showed him under the bed. I showed him everywhere in the room that possibly a hidden fire or something could be. Even like the window. I showed him the window. There's no fire outside neither. Nothing. And he didn't like that, man. He just freaked out. He kept saying he just woke up and he couldn't see anything. It was just smoky in there, and he could not find the door to the hallway. He could not find the door to his room to get out of there. He was stuck, man. So, man, hey, if that happened to you, I'm sure you freak out too. Waking up and everything's foggy until you get, just like in a movie, right? Things happen immediately, and then once you cross that threshold, it clears up, and it's like a different scene in the movie. You know, it's like, you know, something's happening here, and it switches, boom, just like that. It's clear. So I know he freaked out, and dude's on, at the time he was only probably like, let me see, I don't know, maybe 10 years old. I say he's probably about 10 years old. I forgot, sorry about that, but he's probably about 10 years old. And coming to think of it, like later on, you know, I was, you know, I of course we put him back to bed, everything's good, but later on I started thinking about what he said about that room. And like I told you in a different episode, when we added the addition to the house, I had to go inside the attic there to put more insulation and do a couple, you know, pull some wires through and whatnot from the old house to the new house and vice versa. Okay, so I was up in that attic for a while, and I do remember right above that area of the house that it was like, it looked like there was a fire up there. It looked like there was a fire, and they replaced some of the boards. There's like charred wood and everything. You know, we tested and everything, you know, knocked on it, pushed it and everything like that, but it was charred, man. It was a big chunk. And ironically, it was right above, you know, the bedrooms up front, like actually above his room. So was that what he saw? Was that like a remnants of a fire that happened a long time ago that he was looking at in his room? You know, like the results, was that smoke? You know, I don't know what it was. You know, what could it be? You guys tell me, put in the comments what you think it was. You think it was like remnants of a fire that happened before, and for some reason in his sleep he manifested? Was that right to say? Or he just dreamt of it, and you know, as he opened his eyes, you know, he's in between the dream and the awake time. You know, is that what happened? Let me know in the comments, man, because a lot of things like that were happening around the house. We don't know if it's real, if it's not real, you know. Are we imagining it? But with the stuff, the activity that happens in that house, the old house, you know, the one I'm talking about, the house, if it's our imagination, it's a pretty good imagination. But what made our imagination think something like that? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely something happening in this house. So what made us think of certain things to imagine? You know, what coaxed us to imagine actual things that happened, really happened, existed in the past, and here we are at that present time looking at things happen, you know, as far as like mimickers, you know, things that mimicked us, look like us as family members, or the little girl that's jamming through the house, you know, or that fire that my son just saw and stuff. So yeah, you guys let me know what you guys think in the comments, all right? And that's it for the story. I just had to shoot that out to you guys, man. I was thinking about it. I wanted to get out to you real quick, you know, because I remember that night. And if you guys are ever woken up by like a possibility of a fire in your house at night, right? Man, you're going to be scared. You're going to jump up, and you want to know where the fire is first, all right? Before you like hit everybody out. You want to know where it's at. If it's really happening, is it a little fire that you can contain, or is it a out of hand fire? You know, you want to know where the fire is at. And when he came in there, my room shaking his fingers like he had water on his fingers, man, you know, trying to shake him dry. And he's freaking out, you know, yelling that there's a fire in his room. Dude, you're going to get up. You're going to get up and see where the heck that fire is. So once again, that's my story for this episode. So I want to say thank you for watching, and thank you for listening. And this is the Ghostfly Podcast. You guys take care, and see you next time. Peace.